I've always been drawn to old things, antique furniture, vintage clothing, forgotten trinkets. There's something about the past that fascinates me, something about the stories these objects carry. But not all stories are meant to be uncovered. Some are better left buried. This is the story of the doll with the broken smile, and how it nearly cost me my life. It was a rainy afternoon when I stumbled upon the doll. I was browsing a small, cluttered antique shop on the edge of town, the kind of place that smells like dust and old wood. The owner, an elderly woman with piercing blue eyes, watched me from behind the counter as I wandered through the aisles. That's when I saw it, a porcelain doll, sitting on a shelf between a cracked teapot and a tarnished silver mirror. It was beautiful, in a haunting sort of way. Its face was pale and delicate, its glassy blue eyes staring straight ahead. But what caught my attention was its smile. It was cracked, as if someone had dropped it and tried to piece it back together. The effect was unsettling, but I couldn't look away. "How much for the doll?" I asked, holding it up for the owner to see. She hesitated, her eyes narrowing. "That one's not for sale." "Why not?" I asked, intrigued. She shook her head. "It's cursed. Bad things happen to those who take it." I laughed, though her words sent a chill down my spine. "I don't believe in curses," I said. "Name your price." She studied me for a long moment, then sighed. "Fine. But don't say I didn't warn you." I took the doll home and placed it on the mantel above the fireplace. It looked out of place among my other antiques, its broken smile giving it an almost sinister air. But I didn't mind. I thought it added character. That night, I woke to the sound of laughter, soft, melodic, and coming from the living room. I grabbed my flashlight and crept downstairs, my heart pounding. The living room was empty, but the doll was no longer on the mantel. It was sitting on the couch, its head tilted to one side, as if it had been watching me sleep. I told myself I must have moved it and forgotten. But deep down, I knew that wasn't true. Over the next few days, strange things began to happen. Objects would move on their own, shadows would dart across the walls, and I would hear whispers when no one else was around. The doll was always at the center of it. No matter where I put it, it would always end up back on the mantel, its broken smile staring at me. Then, the dreams started. Every night, I would dream of a little girl in a white dress, her face pale and her eyes hollow. She would stand at the foot of my bed, pointing at the doll and whispering, "She's coming for you." I tried to get rid of the doll, but it always found its way back. I threw it in the trash, only to find it sitting on the kitchen table the next morning. I buried it in the backyard, but it was back on the mantel by nightfall. It was as if the doll had a will of its own. Desperate for answers, I went back to the antique shop. The owner wasn't there, but I found an old newspaper clipping tucked behind the counter. It told the story of a little girl named Emily who had lived in the town over a century ago. She had been given the doll as a gift, but soon after, her family began to die under mysterious circumstances. Emily herself disappeared, and the doll was found in her empty bed, its smile cracked and broken. The article ended with a warning: the doll is said to carry the spirit of Emily, who seeks revenge on those who take it from its resting place. That night, I decided to confront the doll. I placed it on the kitchen table and sat across from it, my heart pounding. "What do you want?" I demanded, my voice trembling. The doll didn't respond, but its eyes seemed to glow in the dim light. Then, I heard it, a soft, melodic voice, coming from the doll itself. "You took me from my home," it whispered. "Now, you must pay the price." I stumbled backward, my mind racing. I remembered the dreams, the little girl in the white dress. "Emily?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. The doll's head tilted, its broken smile widening. "She's coming for you," it whispered. I don't remember how I got out of the house. All I remember is running, the doll's laughter echoing in my ears. I didn't stop until I reached the antique shop. The owner was waiting for me, her eyes filled with pity. "I tried to warn you," she said softly. "What do I do?" I asked, my voice shaking. She handed me a small, weathered box. "Take it back to where it belongs. Bury it deep, and never speak of it again." I did as she said. I buried the doll in the woods, far from my home. The whispers stopped, the dreams faded, and the shadows disappeared. But I know the doll is still out there, waiting for someone else to find it. I still see her sometimes, the little girl in the white dress. She stands at the edge of the woods, her hollow eyes watching me. And every time I pass the antique shop, I can't help but glance at the mantel, half expecting to see the doll with the broken smile, waiting for me to take it home.